Hey everybody, welcome back to Shovel Knight Plague of Shadows. Last time we started our adventure in the plains and met Mona, well, we're acquainted with Mona as the player at the Potionarium, as well as purchased some upgrades, and today we're heading to the Lich Yard. Lich Yard, god, I still can't pronounce that. Often think, what the fuck? Lair of Spectre Knight. So, opposed to how I usually do Pridemore Keep first in Shovel Knight, I actually like to do the Lich Yard first here. And that's because the relic you get here is kind of infinitely more helpful than the one you get, well, not the relic you get here, but, when you get more money, you get more money by going here, and the relic you get, well, why do I do this first? I actually don't even know. I sort of just do. Because the relic you get here is helpful, but it's not like infinitely helpful. In fact, I rarely use it. Why do I do this all first? I actually don't know. By the way, the bait bomb is so much better than the fishing rod because it's faster. I mentioned this in my Shovel Knight Amiibo video where you can actually get the bait bomb for Shovel Knight. It is just an improvement upon the fishing rod, basically. It's faster, it's a much better attack, like, I can just use it here, and it's actually a pretty decent offensive move. So, thank God they actually improved the fishing rod as in every way. But this level has been pretty much the same so far. I've been able to get through it somewhat differently as Plague Knight, though, thanks to the burst. And by the way, though I think I broke some checkpoints in my Shovel Knight playthrough, I am going to break absolutely 0 checkpoints in Plague of Shadows. I even do that when I'm playing the game normally, because I make a lot of stupid mistakes when playing this damn game. So I don't want to take any damn risks. I am not breaking any checkpoints. Anyway, these giant skeletons are actually kind of easy to deal with as Plague Knight, like, yeah, because we can throw 3 vials pretty quickly. You can have a maximum of 3 vials on the screen with this normal casing, though the amount of vials you can have on screen depends on your powder, actually, not your casing. So here, I'm actually going to make use of the lob casing for the first time, because we purchased that at the Potionarium last time, and we can just throw it up there, and he'll either get hit by it immediately, or you can actually walk into it. Like, if this guy backs up and I don't immediately hit him, it'll just sort of linger on the ground for a while. Or it'll hit his skull, whatever, either one. And eventually he'll walk into it, or it'll explode on him or something. He'll get hit by it either way, is his main point here. So I can use the lob casing to take you out. Oh. But okay, I guess I'm going to use the tracer powder, though, because I want to drop on those guys and actually kill them. There we go. So there is some strategy you can do in Plague of Shadows. It is a deeper experience in some ways than Shovel Knight, but I have my issues with this game. One of them is, so far, the level design. It's not that it's bad, it's just that it isn't built for Plague Knight. Also, we have the worthless relic here, the Phase Locket. So we found a relic that we can't use. Interesting. Also, sections like that where you're just like, there's never really a section like that in the original Shovel Knight where you drop from a ladder and there's nothing below you. But they do it a number of times in Plague of Shadows. I know it's because you can save yourself now with your bomb burst and all, but still, kind of silly. I'm going to get the tracer powder out because I am not positive I'll hit you. But then you ended up being stupid, so I hit you anyway. It's completely pointless. Anyway, back here is another giant skeleton. Oop. Okay, we kind of fucked that fight up really bad. We don't need to kill him, but he's going to give us some money, so I kind of want to kill him. Well, come on now. Get over here so you don't drop any money in the damn pit. There we go. You drop some magic in the pit. I mean, that's bad, but it's not really... It really doesn't even matter because I have full magic right now. Because, again, Plague of Shadows, you regenerate your magic instead of using up a base number. And those launchers simply lead you out of the sections that are designed specifically for Plague Knight, so you can get the useless relic, usually. Actually, entirely. All those areas are, like, behind... They're hidden by green gems in walls. So, always be looking out in these levels for a green gemstone hidden in a wall. Because that is going to lead the way to the level's useless relic. And we'll figure out what we're going to be doing with that a bit later. I will say, though, that gold is less important in stages in Shovel Knight. So, you don't need to have a ton of gold going into stages explicitly. I mean... You're gonna anyway, because you need it to buy stuff in the Potionarium. But overall, gold's kind of less important in Plague of Shadows, I'd argue. I mean, it's helpful, of course, when you're buying things in the Potionarium, but if you know what you're doing, there's only a certain number of upgrades that are actually helpful at all in the Potionarium and are actually worth buying. I will be buying them all anyway. But another problem with Plague of Shadows is that, like, a lot of what you get, it just isn't really that helpful. Like, we have the Tracer Powder, that's helpful. The Lob Casing is helpful in situational situations, but there's gonna be so many casings and powders and stuff that I get, and Arcana, that I'm just never gonna touch after, you know, an initial explanation. Whereas in Shovel Knight, I pretty much use every relic consistently, and I know this is just the case, you know, they added a lot more in, of course something is gonna be less helpful, whereas Shovel Knight had, you know, less relics and less, you know, just things in general. I mean, the armor sucked in Shovel Knight, but other than that, everything had a purpose, everything had a use. I can't really say the same about Plague of Shadows, but I don't know. The Lich Yard, though, is a pretty fun level for Plague Knight overall. It's kind of pretty open overall, so it works well with how Plague Knight plays, which is more than I can say for a number of other levels. So Lich Yard is one of my favorite Plague Knight levels. That's probably why I do it first, just because I find it a better experience than Pride More Keep will be. Spoiler alert, but yeah. So we're still collecting these Cypher Coins. I should have made sure my fingers charged up, because that was kind of worrying. And here we can actually just entirely skip this section if we want, but I kind of want this gold that's going to be on here. So I'm going to buy that platform anyway. And we still have these frog. You know, if you can just get on this platform, frog. You're not getting at the platform. Okay, you die. And I gotta tell you, getting these, moving these skulls with Plague Knight is a pain. Because it's much easier with Shovel Knight's, you know, base shovel swing that you can actually, like, consistently control. Not that you can't consistently control the vials, but they're, like, trickier to control, I guess, is what I mean. Okay, there we go. I never have gotten those 2 gold pieces. They always fall in the pit. Anyway. So here is where we normally would get the relic as Shovel Knight. And Chester is still here. Poured in a beaker, stuffed in a bag. Chester's always got the swag. Hey, nice relic, pal. You know, I could take that off your hands and give you something a little more interesting. The Leech Liquid. We trade him the Phase Locket for something that replenishes damage, rather our health when we damage enemies. So, let's just demonstrate this by getting hit a little bit here. I don't want to get rid of my 1 unit though, so I'm just gonna drink this, throw a vial in, and you'll see little red dots come from the enemy into me. It takes a second to respond, but that is healing me. You can see I got my my health back. Though it uses, at the moment at least, every single bit of our magic. But you'll notice I actively had to try and get hit there in order to show that off. Yeah, a big problem with Plague of Shadows, in my opinion, is that, and that's the worst, the least offensive of them. But the areas you get these Arcana in, they aren't designed to show you how they're used at all, because they're designed to show you how the relic would work. They couldn't redesign them though to make it work with Plague Knight better. I feel like Plague of Shadows was not half-assed, but received. I think they didn't know what they could really do, because Shovel Knight was a success, of course, but I don't think they really understood just how much these side stories and side playthroughs would really be popular. And when they did, they made Spectre of Torment, you know, almost a whole new game, from what I understand. I haven't played it still, but from what I understand, it is a lot more new content there than there is in Plague of Shadows. We can still get Money Fish, by the way, from digging those up. We can also get health tonics, so if we want those. So you can no longer get Ichor from fishing things up, or at least the Ichor fish. So that's disappointing, possibly. You don't get any more fishes, but you get Ichor. So, but you get, well, you still get Money Fish, but you get health essentially anyway. And that was really the only useful thing you could get from the Ichor fish anyway, so it really doesn't even matter. Anyway, you can basically blow up all these little broccoli dudes because they just give us money, and the bomb burst negates the need for them anyway. Ooh, that's a frog. It's gotta die. Get over here, frog. Time to die. Let's have another frog here. These sections where it's dark are hell as Plague Knight. Because, like, Plague Knight's all, you can zip all over the place and be really crazy. But then you can't see and you kind of just gotta be guess I can't burst anywhere. I mean, if you know the level, it's not that bad, but... I mean, it's not like these are particularly great! Okay, wow. It's not like these are particularly great as Shovel Knight anyway, but... yeah. Plague Knight can also double jump. I never mentioned that, but yeah. It's not the greatest double jump, but he can do it. It can keep momentum from a bomb burst, though, so that's really cool. Anyway, that's that final checkpoint, and I'm going to go and equip the lob casing here. And this is where combat can really show its face and how interesting and fast-paced it can be, or rather, how hectic it can be for the player. So, Reaper meets Reaper, but you are no kindred spirit. What have you come to harvest, foolish alchemist? If only you could see me yawning under this mask. Ooh, spooky ghost. A mask indeed. As befits a hollow, blustering fool. You hide only from yourself. How tragic that you shall never emerge from cowardice. For here, your story must end. So he just sort of decides to fight us. We haven't even told him, hey, we're gonna take your essence, bro. He's just sort of like, I hate you, you're a coward, die. And maybe he knows, but like, how would he know? I mean, Plague Knight knows. How does Plague Knight know? I don't know. In fact, pretty much, actually that's not true. Most of the Order Quarter actually aren't aware. Especially since the intro said, unbeknownst to everyone, Plague Knight has his own scheme. Everyone. That includes, you know, Spectre Knight here. Anyway, the lob casing, of course, is super helpful for Spectre Knight because he's mostly floating in the air. You want to use the lob casing to throw things up to him, and, well, that's about that. Switch back to the base casing. I don't remember what it's called, just a normal casing. When he's on the lower level, and have the bombs drop off the platforms onto him, and you can deal with him pretty quickly. But we've got his spinning essence. And I didn't even see where his corpse went. But we automatically return to the potion area. And we just have to drop the essence into Mona's dynamo decanter here. Once the essence is all distilled together, if my research is correct, then we can craft the ultimate potion. Spectre Knight has given up the ghost. Great, I need to swing by the Lich Yard to scrape up some ectoplasm later. Fantastic. Your face. You look different. Is something the matter? Silly, I'm smiling. So what are we working on? So we can now actually do research. So go ahead and do that. And she's going to test her hypothesis. And what research does is gives us a whole new bunch of stuff to buy. You'll notice we get a lot of options for things to buy, and honestly, I don't really like it. It's overwhelming. Look how many things we have to buy. We have 2 bursts, 3 fuses, 2 powders, and you don't know what's going to be helpful coming up. I'll tell you what's going to be helpful coming up, the Cascade powder. We really want that. Other than that, most of this is crap. I mean, the long fuse is helpful, I guess. We're going to go and buy that. But other than that, most of this is kind of superficial. It can be helpful, don't get me wrong, but it's not at all necessary. So we're just gonna be done with that, and we're gonna buy, you know, things later on, of course. But we bought we bought a fuse. So basically, this takes it longer for the casing to explode now. This long takes with the long fuse. Here's a standard fuse. So fairly significant amount of time longer. The Cascade powder, when it explodes, makes a few waves, I guess. Before we head out next, I also want to buy a magic upgrade so we can use more Arcana more often. And of course, turn our music sheets into Percy. What a blockhead. And he throws stuff into Oolong, who's so happy because he's unlocked a new song. Which is just the theme to the Explodatorium. There are significantly less songs to unlock in Plague of Shadows as well. If we actually go back here, you'll see that we only have, you know, a 15 overall, and 5 of them were unlocked basically automatically. Anyway, before we are done this episode... Actually, there's nothing we can do. Well, I guess we could do that. Okay, let's go handle this knight. This is just a treasure level. I believe it's the exact same level as was in Shovel Knight, but hey, whatever. We're here anyway. We're doing it. Gotta be very careful here, because these birds are actually quite a pain. And these slimes... See, I make a lot of stupid mistakes, and just generally do a lot of stupid shit in Plague of Shadows. Very often. So the bait bombs as well, as a weapon, will actually sort of travel on the ground for a little bit before they, either explode or reach a target. Maybe I can demonstrate with you. Nope, you're just gonna die. Well, I'll demonstrate here. Yeah, let's sort of dash forward and then hop into a pit. So, they're a very good long-range attack option, honestly. But, that's actually it. We are done here. We completed the Lich Yard, we got, Spectre Knight's Essence. And, that's it. I don't have an outro. Next time we go to Piedmore Keep to deal with King Knight. See you guys then.